Movie review number 1287 is The Penguin Lessons. The Penguin Lessons is a 2025 movie directed by Peter Cataneo. Cattaneo. So this movie has Sony Pictures Praxis, Rolling Dice Productions, Rocket Science Productions, 42 Productions, and Nostromo Pictures. I saw this movie on April 1st, 2025 at AMC Westchester 18 in Westchester, Ohio. So last year I saw a movie called My Penguin Friend about a guy who befriends a penguin. Well, this movie is a little bit like that. Of course, different profession, different time period, different setting, but it involves a man who befriended a penguin and how mean this penguin changed his life forever. And I think this is based on a true story. So, inspired by the true story of a disillusioned Englishman who went to work in a school in Argentina in 1976, expecting an easy ride, Tom discovers a divided nation and a class of unteachable students. However, after he rescues a penguin from an oil stick beach, his life is turned upside down. So, Steve Coogan portrays Tom Mitchell in the movie. He arrives in Argentina, he becomes a teacher for this school, and he sees how the country Argentina is divided after a military coup, and he also sees a bunch of unteachable students who like to play around. Well, due to this military coup, crashes off for like a week or two, and so Tom Mitchell decides to travel. Well, one day he discovers a penguin at an oil stick beach. Now, normally, he wouldn't really rescue the penguin, but he was with a woman. So he decides to rescue this penguin, and shortly after the woman leaves, um, Tom Mitchell tries to get rid of this penguin. However, the penguin eventually found his way to Tom, and he's like being forced by the police to take him, or he'll be arrested. So Tom takes the penguin back to school, and he has to hide the penguin from the headmaster of the school along with the students. But then he decides to make the deal with the students that if they pay attention and not say a word about this to anybody, they can feed the penguin during lunch, which they accept. And let's just say the penguin is easy to talk to. Of course, he doesn't talk, of course, but he's very easy to talk to as Tom talks to the penguin along with other students or faculty members, even one that might even surprise you, which I won't reveal too much, of course. But basically, this penguin definitely changed not only Tom's life, but also other people's lives forever. And it's based on a true story, so I really like that. So, other actors and actresses in this movie are Vivian L. Drapo as Maria, John Gustafsson as a science teacher Tapio, David Horrello portrays Diego, Jonathan Price portrays Headmaster Buckle, uh, Alfonso Nena Carolosio portrays Sophia, Amar Morena portrays Ernesto, Nicano Fernandez portrays Igor, Hugo Furtis portrays Romero, Joaquin Lopez portrays Fito, Miguel Alejandro Serrano portrays Walter, and Brandon McNamee portrays Cooper. And guys, this is actually based on the memoir of the same name that was published in 2016. So, this movie definitely reminded me of last year when I saw My Penguin Friend, a guy who befriended a penguin. And I think that was also based on a true story. Well, in this movie, The Penguin Lessons, we see Tom Mitchell, who, let's just say, doesn't have much personality. His character really changes from the beginning of the movie to the ending of the movie, and how this one penguin really changed his life. Like I said, this penguin um, really is a good character. He doesn't talk much, but he is loyal. and smart, and he definitely makes an impact to the store. But the question is, will Headmaster will Headmaster Butler appreciate the Penguin just as much as anyone else? You might find it surprising what happens later on in the movie. Of course, this movie also details the military coup that happens in Argentina, and unfortunately, several people do get arrested, including one character in particular that Tom knows of. I won't go into much detail, much more, but like I said, part of the movie is about Tom meeting this penguin, but also part of the movie is about the events that are happening in Argentina at that time, trying to figure out um how to handle this situation. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I definitely recommend it. So that's my movie review of The Penguin Lessons Precinct 2 for this movie review. Alright, goodbye.